Good morning. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day this Sunday morning as we prepare for the busyness and things to be accomplished during the day today. And we just take a few moments to ground ourselves and remind ourselves of the truth of the essence of who we are. And so I invite you this morning to enter into an imagination with me and meditation, and we are going to imagine ourselves as flowers, as a beautiful flower bud just growing and about to bloom. So if you can do that with me, I invite you to get yourself comfortable in your chair. If possible, have your feet flat on the floor, and I recommend your palms upturned, your hands on your laps perhaps. And your back nice and straight, your spine straight all the way up, as though you're being suspended from the very top of your head. Allow your neck to be stretched up and your shoulders to be soft and comfortable, and your arms loose, and your whole body relaxed, apart from that straightness of your spine. And just for a moment now, begin to concentrate on your breathing. Feel the breath entering your body and leaving the body. And know that that is a process that you can count on to look after itself, to maintain your physical body. And now, as we enter into this imagination of being a flower, know that that same energy, that same life force that is entering your physical body is present at the very center of this beautiful flower bud that you are. Become aware of your bud nature. Become aware of the essence of the divinity right at the center of this bud. Become aware of the many layers of petals closed tightly and gently around this center of being. Just breathing into that center, feeling the divine light right here in the center of this tightly closed bud. And know that that bud has been tightly closed in order to offer security and protection for the growth of life within. And at some point, that life within desires to express. And encouraged by the warming sun on the exterior of the bud, pushing out gently from the inside and unfolding gently from the outside. That bud opens ever so slowly until it is beautifully expressing into the world all the beauty, all the life, all the creativity that is within. And know that your gift, your purpose to the world is simply to provide beauty. And you offer that beauty to one and all without judgment, without reservation. You present your beauty to the insects, to the bees, to the flowers, to the humans, without any concept of good or bad, of deserving or undeserving. You are simply called to express beauty. And as that beauty flows out into the world, freely given, you become aware of the desire and the need for renewal. So just allowing those petals to drop away. The essence of you remains closed in again, protected again, sheltered while a new life grows in you once more. Become essence again, beware of your essence again. Just a spark of divinity. Just a tiny expression of life. Protected, eternal, expanding and contracting and expanding again. As you are aware of that essence, it begins once more to expand. Those petals, those layers of petals, begin to build upon each other, encompassing the eternal light of life at the center of your being, resting through a winter, and then once again being warmed by the sun and driven by the urge, the need to express into life. And so once again, your petals open gently, gently. Observe this time. Your petals may be a different color, but equally beautiful, equally gifting themselves to life. This is the purpose of life: to grow, to spend itself, to regroup, reborn, re-expressing eternally, infinitely. And as you express, you give the gift of beauty. You inspire others to express. The bees hum, the birds sing. The humans adore you. Just expressing the beauty of life into the world. Just being beauty. And we become aware that the same life expressing as that flower bud and growing into the beauty of the fully developed flower, that same life is at the center of you. Protected right there in the heart space. Always ready to expand and grow and regrow. Giving of itself, giving of its beauty, expressing its truth as you. expending the energy when necessary, and then regrouping back into the protection of the heart space to grow once more, to expand once more, to bloom once more. Feel the energy entering the body, releasing without hesitation, drawing the breath in, releasing the breath, knowing the eternal, ongoing cycle of life. In, as, and through each one of us. In, as, and through each animal, each four-legged animal, each two-legged animal, each eight-legged animal, every tree, every flower, every rock, every grain of sand. One, interconnected, interacting, interdependent. Again, feel that breath. Draw that breath deeply into every corner of your physical body. Allow each finger, each toe to glitter with the one life. Feel that life flowing through your circulatory system, through your digestive system, through your nervous system. Energizing, refreshing, maintaining. And gently, gently now become more and more aware of the physical body. Perhaps wiggling the fingers and toes, raising the eyebrows, rolling the neck gently from side to side, stretching up nice and tall through the neck, through the shoulders, rolling the shoulders back, wiggling the fingers, gently, gently opening your eyes, allowing your eyes just to flutter open and take a moment to allow them to readjust and look about your room where you are. Notice the color of the walls, the pictures on the walls, the ceiling and the floor. And notice yourself in that room. And be fully present with who you are and where you are and when you are. So thank you for being with me this morning. Please stay tuned for music with Michael Drislan, and then our service, which is sure to uplift and inspire you. Thank you once again. Namaste.
Pants for $54.
But it's fine.
And the jacket.
Same clothes?
Same.
Are we doing it? Oh my goodness, it is time.
Is your mic on,
Same
Patricia?
stuff.
Wow.
Is your mic on?
Oh,
I'm not speaking yet.
Oh.
all right, here we go.
Let's see what do we have going on. All right. Ready to roll?
Ready to roll.
Let's do it. Right on. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. This is a place we all belong. We place our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the door to spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is a promise in our thankfulness. We know that when we seek, we find. We place our trust in this great holiness. This sacred space is yours and mine. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, everybody, to Unity. We are very grateful to live, work, and play and create on the traditional and unceded territory of many Indigenous people here on Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Haichka. And of course, Unity is I'm going to change this up. Unity is like an awesome, amazing place to come and hang out and just let go of everything in the world that is troubling you, that has you suffering, that makes you feel like you're less than, because you are enough here at Unity. Hey! All right. There we go. Next song.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell me I was anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell me I was less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that my loving is a miracle? How deeply I'm connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell them they were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell them they were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that their loving is a miracle? How There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. There is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one.
I invite you all to join me. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes and just allow yourself to become present to where we are right here, right now. And I invite you to affirm with me now our oneness, our togetherness, our joy in being united today and in all days moving forward. We each have within us this great spark of life. We need only choose to keep it alive. And we know that we can each lean on one another to make that a truth. So it is. Thank you. Ah, yes, words. The words of wisdom. I'm back in class, which is awesome.
Yay.
Awesome because then I don't have to do a lot of research for stuff because I'm forced to read so many things and have so much stuff put in front of me that I can just cut and paste things as I need them. So I'm gonna offer some words today from Lowell Fillmore, who was the son of Charles and Myrtle.
Oh, never heard of him before.
Yeah.
Is it
and he-
Lyle or how is it?
It's Lowell.
Lowell.
Lowell, sorry,
Lowell.
excuse me. Lowell, Lowell Fillmore. There we go. And yes, he wrote a book, and several, I believe, but I'm working on one right now in one of my classes. So I've slightly changed the language on this because it did have an element of, from my take, a little bit of a God outside of us, and so I've shifted the language just a little bit, but I've tried to keep it as much in his context as possible. We have been freely given of life, intelligence, and all other resources at all times. But we make use of these blessings more or less ignorantly, and shall continue to do so until we realize that all these riches have their source in the one power. Realizing this, we begin more intelligently to utilize the divine source and, of course, get better results from life. When we accept as a matter of course these gifts that have been freely given to us and use them without recognition of the love that prompted them, we eat the skins and throw away the flesh of this heavenly fruit. While principles may seem cold and unsympathetic, they are, after all, more dependable than the love of any human being because they never change. They are our friend. They are your friends and helpers as long as you conform to truth and righteousness. So when I think of this from Lowell, I think of the unity principles, the 5 principles that are never changing. I think of the principles of the one source, God, universe, whatever you want to refer to that oneness as a never-changing entity, as a never-changing example for us to live. We may have a different opinion of it at times. We may experience it differently at times. But that oneness never changes. That love never goes away, never leaves us. It's always present. And that's what I think Lowell is alluding to, that we have that for us at all times. We can call on that. We can be one with it. We can experience it. And it never leaves.
Think about it, Thomas. Think about it.
What's next?
Come on, that was wise stuff.
Oh, I am the thinker.
I
love it.
am a thinker.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Kyle.
I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
There you go, that worked.
That's awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Good job, buddy.
I don't even know what happened.
You're just good.
So I get to follow that. Oh, wait a minute. Now I get to follow that. See if I can see this. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You all know that name, right? A few months ago, before the last American election, it was a very prominent name. We were all praying that she could stay alive just long enough. So we all know Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but what do we know of her story, of how she got to be Supreme Court judge? So I'm going to tell you. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was one of the very first women admitted to Harvard Law School. And she attended Harvard Law School and Columbia Law School at the same time as raising an infant child. And her husband came down with cancer. He was also a law student. So she attended all of his courses and took notes for him and helped him write his papers while he was ill, as well as doing her own class. And she graduated first in the class, and she was unemployable. She was turned down by 13 law firms in New York City, the largest city in the country, the most litigious country in the world. She was unemployable and eventually had to take a job as a professor. Yes, because they thought she might get pregnant, or because they hired a woman last year and they don't need another one, or my favorite, they thought their wives might get jealous. And so she was a professor, but she wanted to be a trial judge. And finally, she got that opportunity in a landmark case. She challenged a tax law, actually, that discriminated on the basis of sex. Ironically, the law that came up that she could tackle was the only law that discriminated in favor of a man. So it was a law that allowed a woman to claim deductions for hiring a caregiver for an aging parent. And the assumption, of course, was that no man would ever stoop that low. But there was a man who was a bachelor, didn't have a wife to hand off to, and so he claimed caregiver expenses for his demented mother. And she challenged that in court. And the opposition, which of course was the government, defended, saying that to overturn that law would set a precedent and allow people to start challenging other laws, and that would create radical social change and would ruin the American family. So in pleading her case, do you remember the 70s? Those of us who do. In pleading her case, she recalled the saying of an early law professor of hers who said, "A court ought not be affected by the weather of the day, but will be by the climate of the era." And she was tuned into the climate of the era. And the government argued she argued that the government, wanting to keep the laws in place, she said they were protecting the culture and morality and traditions of an America that no longer existed. And we can see that happening all over the world, right? So in her closing argument, she said, "We're not asking you to change the country. That's already happened without any court's permission. We're asking you to protect the right of the country to change." I have benefited greatly from the work of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and other people like her. I remember working side by side with a young man. We were both quite young. We had the same skill set. We had the same job. The only difference was I could type and he couldn't. So I had to type up his manifests as well. I was paid $1.27 an hour. He was paid $1.77 an hour. I still remember those figures. So I have benefited, my daughters have benefited, my granddaughters have benefited by this work that allows us to now choose careers that speak to us instead of, as my mother would tell me, be a teacher or a nurse, because that's something you could always fall back on in case something happened to your husband. Yeah. So when I think of this, I think of Myrtle and Charles Fillmore and how they read the weather of the climate of the era they knew there were things to be changed. And ironically, in the 60s and 70s, you know, many of us resisted using the word feminist. Remember that? Because it was assumed that all feminists were rabid lesbians who were man-haters and socialists, the most dreaded of all words in the US, right? So while we resisted using that word, ironically, when Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were working, they resisted not changing the word Christian. But they were changing Christianity, were they not? They were changing dramatically. But in those days, in the Bible Belt of America, everybody was Christian. It was synonymous with a good man, was it not? There were no atheists, there were no agnostics, there were no Buddhists, there were no Muslims in those days. Everybody was Christian. So they had to keep that terminology, but they called it what? Who knows? Practical Christianity, because it offered tools for living our lives. It was relevant to the climate of the era. It gave permission for the church to change. Yes? So speaking of changing churches, you may be familiar with Pastor Clayton Pearson. Ever heard of him? He's quite well known. I think he's been interviewed in both the Science of Mind magazine and the Unity magazine, and he may have been Science of Mind Spiritual Warrior of the Year one year. He was pastor of Higher Dimensions Family Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And in the 90s, the average weekly attendance at that church was 6,000 people. And not only did he pastor that church, but he traveled throughout the U.S. doing revivals in churches and bringing people to God, right? He was consecrated a bishop at quite a young age, and he was being groomed to succeed Oral Roberts. Remember Oral Roberts University and all that? So one day, Pastor Clayton Pearson was watching the news, and it was about the genocide in Rwanda. And he was deeply, deeply moved by that. And the following Sunday, he addressed his congregation, and I'm going to quote his speech from a movie that I watched that was done about him. So he watched these thousands of starving children, and he said, I said, God, I don't know how you can call yourself a loving God and let these people suffer like this. I said, none of them are saved. They don't know Christ. They're not born again. And when they die, you just suck them down to hell. And then I heard a voice as clear as my own say, is that what you think? That we're sucking them all down to hell when they die? And I said, yes. And he said, well, what would you do about that? And I said, well, we got to get them saved. Got to speak the gospel to them. And he said, well, if that's what you think will get them saved, then put your baby down, turn off your big screen TV, and get yourself on the first thing smoking and go get them saved. I said, God, don't put that guilt on me. I've given you the best 40 years of my life. Besides, I can't save the whole world. And he said, precisely. You can't save the world. That's what we did. Murmurs began circulating around the congregation. But he said, stay with me. All my life I've been taught it. Everything I know points to a choice, heaven or hell. Many people I love, members of my own family, went to hell, and they're there for good. Now, I could never reconcile that, but I do accept it because they had a choice. But when did these people in Africa separate from God? When did they make a choice? And how do they get saved? And he said, they don't need to get saved. They're already saved. And I've taken them into my presence. They will all be with me in heaven. At this point, the murmurs became a commotion, and then a disruption, and then people started getting up and walking out. But Carlton Pearson was a thinker. You've had those thoughts, have you not? Have you asked those questions? How can you call yourself a loving God? And so Carlton Pearson began preaching something called universal reconciliation. And in Christian theology, that's also called universal salvation or Christian universalism. And it's the doctrine that all sinful and alienated human souls because of divine love and mercy, will ultimately be reconciled to God. Now, that's not as much radical social change as our position that there is no heaven and hell and that we've never been separated from God. But it was pretty radical. And so his congregation dwindled from 6,000 to less than 1,000, and the building was foreclosed on. And he rapidly lost his influence with the Joint College of African American Pentecostal Bishops, and he was declared a heretic in 2004 and kicked out of the church. It's radical social change on an individual level, is it not? Pearson has subsequently been the senior minister at Christ Universal Temple, a large New Thought congregation in Chicago, head of a Higher Dimensions fellowship there, and an affiliate minister at Tulsa's All Souls Unitarian Church. In other words, he's come to the light. He's come over to our side. But that's the kind of radical social change that happens that's groundbreaking in our society, right? Let's have more of that. In unity too, yes, but also in our politics, our countries, and in our individual lives. Radical social change is not a swear word, it's a darn good thing. Somebody reminded me the other day, I think it was Nico, of the first time I was a guest speaker at Unity. And apparently there were raised eyebrows and glances back and forth and a little bit of surprise at what I was saying, and also a willingness to listen and hear. Because as I recall, what I was talking about was the need for unity and for all spiritual paths to be practical, to be relevant to the times we're living in, to be sensitive to the climate of the era, to be practical, to be useful, rather than just to give us rules and regulations to live by. And I still ask for that. You know, the first time I changed a couple of words in a song, I could sense the
That's so true.
But you know what? There's still a whole lot of words I'd like to change. Because I think when Charles and Myrtle were writing, they used new language, but they never decreed that that should be the language we'd use forever and ever. I think if they were still writing today, they would be still creating social change and changing their language. So I don't think we need to rotely remember their language without thinking about it, because change is not an event. It's a process. It's an unfolding, a flowering, a growth, a progression, if you will. So I don't want to change the eternal truths, of course not, but I want to change the way we say those, the way we talk about them, the way we express them, and the way we transmit those truths to our children, so that those truths will be relevant to the climate of their era, to the seekers of today, so that they land in their hearts. You know, there's a lot of people out there who still want to desperately answer those questions. How can you call yourself a loving God and allow this? You know, who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? Why am I here? And how do I relate to all that is? So those questions will always be on our minds, and we need to offer something other than those traditional answers that allow people to change and think. So you know that I avoid using pronouns for God, right? Back in the 70s, Helen Reddy accepted a Grammy Award, and she thanked her agent, her husband, and God because she makes things happen. And for a while, we talked about the goddess instead of God, and we talked about the feminine face of God. Remember that? And that was a change. That was a radical change. A little bit of it, not radical enough for me, but it was a bit of a change. Because for me, it still humanized God. It still made God into a human being. And for me, that belittles God. It minimizes and makes a mockery, really, of what the divine is. So God is not a he, not a she, not an it, and not a you. Not a you. I know it's hard when you're connecting with the infinite and you're expressing gratitude, not to say thank you. But for me, we all do our own. It's however it is. For me, it jangles. So I looked up the definition of you. You is used to refer to the person or people that the speaker is addressing or to any person in general. God is not a person. So when we say thank you, God, or thank you, Spirit, for me, it doesn't feel right. I know a lot of people can do it, and it does, and that's fine. But for me, even if I could just say, I am in gratitude, I express it, but without the pronoun. So whatever. To me, that's the kind of radical social change I need. And that's next thing for me to tackle, at least, is this idea of God as having a will or a plan for me or you, or wanting us to make certain choices or act in a prescribed way. So the implication, that comes from the thinking of God as a parent with rules and regulations. Parent is a person, right? So ultimately, I think it's this personification of God that allows all the rules and regulations and restrictions and taboos. They didn't come from God. They came from people who are trying to understand God as a man. Yeah? You with me? There's another definition for father. I had to dig for it. But I believe that that's the sense of the word that Jesus meant when he referred to God the Father. And that definition is originator, source, prototype, not sire. So there's many opportunities for us to influence this climate of our era, opportunities to be relevant and offer a practical teaching. Often people, when they come here, say, oh, I love that I found a place where the people are of like mind. And I've fallen into that trap myself. But no, we are not of like mind. The only thing about our minds here that's like is that we're willing to change them. If you want like mind, go to the Catholic Church. Become a Jehovah's Witness. You will get people of like mind. We're thinkers. You may not agree with, you may want to call God you or he or she. That's fine. We're not of like mind. So the purpose of unity is not to make us all the same and not to make our lives all hunky-dunky and comfortable. It may very well do that, but the purpose of unity is to equip us to handle the uncomfortableness of life with grace and love. Yeah. We're bigger than our fears and our judgments. We're bigger than all of that. So I've been asked quite a bit to take a stand, as a unity leader, to take a stand. And I've been asked to tell all unity people that they must be vaccinated. I've been asked, actually many more times, to take a stand to protect people's privacy and right to choose. As I'm currently president of Unity Canada, and we discussed this issue, and we did take a stand in our email to the leaders, and our stand is that it is not our position to tell you whether or not to be vaccinated or whether to close your churches. For us to do is to remind us of principle. And what's the first thing when somebody asks, what do you like about unity? It's inclusive. Principle is inclusion. So whatever your thoughts and feelings are, find the way to be as inclusive as you can. So I'm with Jesus. I'll take my stand. And Jesus' one commandment, and this is my stand: love one another. Love one another. Yeah. So I invite you to bring that thought into a meditation with me. And just imagine yourself right in your heart space, breathing in and inflating that heart space, that place where love springs forth from you. And with each breath, allowing that space to grow and the love to grow until it overflows. And directing that love to each and every person. Those that agree with you, those that are so easy to be with, those that think a little differently from you, and those who think radically different from you. Just allow that love to pour out from you. And know that only love can change minds and hearts. Only love can make an enemy into a friend. And so just keep pouring that love. And notice the feeling that arises in you as you change your attitude, as you accept, as you allow, and as you love. And let's just remain in silence as Ken takes us into the meditation song.
You are the heart, you are the head, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hand, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
You're on.
Hello. Hi. Hello, it's so good to see you guys again. This is fabulous. This is awesome. So, I see some new faces and some familiar ones too. Just so that I know who you guys are, like I don't recognize you. Will you tell me your name?
Ben.
Ben, I'm Josh. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
And I know that we've met before. Laurel, fabulous. And anybody at the back? Can we go through names there? Is that okay? In the glasses there with the lovely bangs. Never mind, it's okay. But that's okay. So just behind, I haven't met you yet.
Jills?
Jill, fantastic to meet you, Jill. It's great to meet you. And you are? Sally. I heard that you guys were really involved with renovating this space, so thank you for that. It's Jills. Thank you for everything that you did there. And you?
Hi, I'm Jade.
Jade, nice to meet you. Awesome. And I think the rest
Is
of
that lady behind the
Oh.
post there?
Hello, I'm Josh. What's your name?
Anne.
Anne, nice to meet you. So, I'm gonna play a song for you guys, and I'd implore you to join in on the chorus if you like. It's pretty recognizable. Do you know the song Calling All Angels by Train?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So once we get to the chorus, it happens a lot of times, so feel free to jump in whenever you're ready for it. And yeah, this is a song about showing up for yourself and for other people too. It's nice. I should probably move this. Just in case. It has a life of its own, just in How's that, Kyle? Is that okay? Oh, yeah. Sweet. I need a sign to let me know you're here. All of these lines are being crossed over the atmosphere. And now I know that things are gonna look up, 'cause we aren't drowning in a sea spilled from a cup. When you felt like there was no place safe, no place to put your head, and you remembered you could change the world with the words that you said. I'm calling all angels. Yes, I'm calling all you angels. I'll take it again. Want to join in? Ready? I'm calling all angels. Nice, yeah. I'm calling all you angels. Beautiful, yeah. I won't give up if you don't give up. I won't give up if you don't give up. Oh, I won't give up if you don't give up. I won't give up if you don't give up. 'Cause I need a sign to let me know you're here. 'Cause my TV set just keeps it all from being clear. I want a reason for the way things have to be. I need a hand to help me find some kind of love inside of me. 'Cause I'm, yeah, calling all angels. I'm calling all you angels. May children go and play outside, shout loud so we can hear, and loving eyes see past the lines that we have drawn for years. And worried kings find noble queens and rediscover having dreams. In a world where all seems lost, may we stand tall against our fear. I'm calling all angels. Yes, I'm calling all you angels. One more, nice. I'm calling all angels. I'm calling all you angels. Thank you. Beautiful, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. There it is. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you.
So great to have you back.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Great drumming. I love that.
Patricia. Reverend Patricia. It's like so much in what you said, and thank you. For those that don't know, there is a movie called On the Basis of Sex, which stars Felicity Jones, which is on the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah. I actually looked up, while I was sitting behind the drum kit, I looked up 5 of the top laws that she fought for change. I'd love to share them because they're so impactful. 1, employers cannot discriminate against employees based on gender or reproductive choices. Probably a good law. State-funded schools must admit women. Women have the right to financial independence and equal benefits. Can you, like...
Thank you, Ruth.
Men are entitled to the same caregiving and Social Security rights as women. And juries must include women. Right, some pretty massive social change. And that was in the 50s and 60s and 70s that she was doing this work.
And there's still work.
Yeah, oh yes, much.
She didn't necessarily get them all passed, she just brought them all up.
Those were all, those were all change, yeah, yeah. Announcements. Here's some fun and interesting book studies. Who ordered this truckload of dung? That is Thursdays at 7 p.m. on Zoom. From February 10th to March 10th, there's 5 sessions or in-person gatherings, and you can reach out to, gosh, it's in the newsletter. Charlene Simpson, I think it's charlene.simpson@outlook.com is the email address. The Nico Rhodes Choir, Mondays at 7 p.m., weather permitting, in the big room. So that's the building next door. So that's Mondays at 7 p.m. And of course, all new voices are welcome. You can drop in, you can come out. It's made simple for people to get along and sing. Even I went out, and I'm a drummer. I don't sing. For years, I was like, no, I don't sing. I drum.
You're a good singer.
But I drum. That's what I do. Friday is board games night, 7 p.m. Fun for all ages. Bring your family, bring your friends, and that is in the big building as well. That's Fridays at 7 p.m. I think bring your own board games too if there's some that you want to play that you definitely know you want to get into. Okay. Share your insights, talk the talk. So following today's service, a Zoom fellowship circle right after service. There's a meeting ID on your screen. It's also in your newsletter. And folks from anywhere are welcome to join. So if you're at home, for you that are at home and able to just click a button or put in that Zoom ID and jump on right after service, we invite you to do that. Many people here will probably hang out and not be on that call, but I think Reverend Patricia will be joining on that call. So yeah, it's online. Yeah, it's all online. And gratitude to our song leaders, Ken Thompson, yay! Sharon McLeod, yay! Valerie Childs and Brian Hazelhurst, yay! And thank you for your ongoing financial support, everyone. It is truly, truly appreciated. And whether that support is financial or it's your talent, or it's your heart, whatever it is you're sharing here at Unity, it is welcome. And one of the things that I realized recently about this is the scripture. You know that saying that there's the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. You know, how do people feel about that? Curious. Don't like it? So so some people don't like that. I've had that experience too, that they think it's. So let me give some context to that, because there is scripture that is those that have, so to those that have, more will be given. And to those that have not, what they have will be taken away. That's the scripture. So you can translate that into finance if you want, but really it's about consciousness in anything in life. You don't have any love in your life? How much love are you giving? You don't have any friendships in your life? How much friendship are you giving? You don't have any money in your life? How okay are you with money and giving it away freely? That's the teaching. For those that have, so in other words, if my consciousness is that I am abundant in all things, and I live freely, and I have absolute abundance, and I'm okay with giving it away, I will have more. However, if I'm going to squeeze on to whatever it is I have and wring the life out of it, I will kill it. It's a scarcity mindset. Oh, I can't do it. I better not go out, man. People might be out there. Like, right? That's what that teaching is. And that is a shift in consciousness. And if you add to that ownership, like I am God. I own the world. It is my responsibility to take care of the world. It's my responsibility to take care of unity. It's mine. It's not all of yours. It is to you, but to me, it's mine. And the moment I realized that and I started to show up here as if I owned unity, my life changed.
I've been feeling that for years.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for your ownership. Anyhow, we thank everybody for whatever they contribute here to Unity. It is truly a great blessing. It's a great community, and I am privileged to be a part of it, so thank you. And join me for our abundance affirmation. Today, I expect every good thing to come to me, for I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. So let's go back to that. Let's not just say that. Let's actually mean it. Today, I expect every good thing to come to me, for I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. Right? Belief. You must believe.
Exactly.
I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heaven, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountain. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heaven, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountain. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heaven, and it returns to me.
Here come the kids.
Do you know the Peanuts theme?
Oh, yeah, I can try it. Hang on.
There we go. Here come the kids. All right. So awesome to have them here today. Join me for our children's blessing. We see the divine light shining as you. We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. And our prayer for protection. The light that is God surrounds me. I am one with the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am one with the love. The power that is God protects me. I am one with the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am one with the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well, and so it is.